Tonight on the Holo Chronicles podcast, we've got an awesome interview lined up. It's a guy who loves Star Wars, loves hot toys and prop replicas, wears flat build hats, has one of the best beards going. I think he's secretly the third Holo Chronicle host here. Josh, hit it.
The third Holo Chronicle host? Is that what you're saying, Andy?
I mean,
is this an interview?
I feel like we're interviewing ourselves tonight a little bit, except he's way cooler than us. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Holo Chronicles podcast. Once again, welcome to those in the chat and those catching up on the rewind. Josh, how you doing?
I'm doing okay, Andy. I'm doing okay.
Yeah,
how you doing?
I'm doing okay too. We're in separate locations tonight. Due to some logistics, but very excited to bring on tonight's guest. Now, Josh, will you allow me to do a formal introduction now?
I will allow it, since we had to do the whole, we're interviewing right now. But
right, we're putting our professional hats on right
yes,
now,
let's
right?
try.
Okay,
let's give it a try.
All right, tonight's guest is none other than Paul Sun-Hyung Lee. Paul has won the Canadian Screen Award for Best Actor in a Comedy Series for his role as Mr. Kim in Kim's Convenience. Star Wars fans will know him as Captain Carson Teva from The Mandalorian. He's been in a few episodes. And Paul is set to play Uncle Iroh in the Netflix live-action version of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Paul is also a massive toy and collectibles collector, has his own YouTube channel, and one to which I have been a subscriber of since probably about this summer. And the guy just seems like a really down-to-earth, awesome, like relatable guy who gets to have the awesomest job ever, right? Like, so, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, Paul.
If there are any children out there, cover your ears.
Paul!
Oh my God, you guys, that's fantastic! Holy crap! What a great intro.
Well, Josh gets all the credit for that one. That was his baby.
Welcome, everybody.
Bravo. Thank you so much. Oh my, that's the first time I've ever seen an opening sting like that. And I gotta say, Andy, you crushed that introduction. Thank you so much. It's so lovely to be here. Wow.
We're so happy to have you, Paul. Man,
yeah.
This is fun. I got like little goosey bumps since you came on. I was acting all cool in the green room, but
well, Paul, you're currently on the West Coast in Canada there, so that's actually just a few hours north of us.
Okay.
We're about an hour north of Portland, Oregon right now. And cool. So, like, if you want to hang, let's
come on down.
Once they open up those borders, I just might join you.
We'll see you in 2024.
Yeah, no doubt. So, Paul, obviously, as Star Wars fans, Josh and I, big time Star Wars fans, absolutely love The Mandalorian. I've seen a little bit of Kim's Convenience. Josh has, I think, seen a bit more because he and his wife got into it for a
big show in my house.
Yeah,
and loved it.
Cool.
And so we're not only fans of you, but we're fans of what you're getting to do. The fact that you have gotten to be on The Mandalorian, like, is incredible. Like, it would be the best job working with who you got to work with. Yeah. Getting to do what you got to do with, like, what was the best part of being on Mandalorian?
Oh man, there is no real best part. I mean, it's all great. It's all great. I mean, I keep saying I was like Cinderella at the ball, growing up in Canada, Asian kid, big fan of Star Wars, and you fall in love with a galaxy far, far away, and it's making those movies is like it's as alien as you can get if you're a child of immigrant parents, especially Asian immigrant parents who are like, you're not going to act, you're not going to be in the arts, you're going to be, my parents always said I could be 5 things, right? 4 things: a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or a failure. And I got to choose, right? So being an actor was never, ever on my radar, right? And so, all that combined with the fact that it's an American production, they often filmed in the UK, and they were finished filming all the Star Wars movies. The chances of me ever being in anything Star Wars related, unless I worked at Disney parks as one of those character actors, was 0. And, and then the prequel trilogy came out, and I was like, oh my God, they did the prequels. And again, no chance of me getting in on those. And then the sequel trilogies came out, and again, no chance of me getting on those, although I'm incrementally closer because I've become an actor during that time. And then, this little show called The Mandalorian, I hear they're making it. And it just, out of pure, sheer blind ass luck, one of my friends from 26 years ago, who I met in Toronto, who I worked with in Toronto, is a director on the show. And her name's Deborah Chow. And that's my connection. Everybody
Not a
keeps
bad
asking.
Connection, Paul.
Yeah,
Pretty
but
solid.
I mean, I hadn't seen her
Name
in 26 years, right?
Wow.
Like, I was in LA for the first time ever. We were doing the Unforgettable Gala. It's a celebration of Asian artists in the media in North America. And I got invited down there because of my work on Kim's Convenience. And while I was there, this woman jumps in front of me, and this is December 2018. Woman jumps in front of me, and it's Deb, and she says, "Hey, do you remember me?" I'm like, "Oh my God, yes, of course I remember you, Deb. What are you doing?" And it turns out, she's working on Star Wars. And she said, I've been trying to get in touch with you because Dave Filoni, who's one of these executive producers on the show and one of the writers, he's a fan of Kim's Convenience, and he wants to write something for you. And what do you do?
Amazing.
Yeah, what do you do, right? Like,
Okay.
GTFO, get out, right? Like, the world goes black all of a sudden. And then it just suddenly, you realize all these different connections that happen because I told Deb, I'm a cosplayer. You do realize I've got like 8 different Star Wars cosplays at home. And she's like, no way. So she asked me to send her those pictures. I send them to her. She sends them to Dave that night on the spot. And he texts back saying, well, he just wears costumes to work type thing. And that led to a set visit. So I got to visit the set a few weeks later and watch them work on season 1 of Mandalorian. And then, 6 months later, my agent gets a call from Lucasfilm saying, hey, they want to know your availability. And a few months after that, I'm in Los Angeles shooting season 2 of The Mandalorian and just losing my mind.
So were you in the episodes that Deborah directed, or other episodes?
No, other episodes. So
okay,
I'd never worked in the U.S. before. I'm Canadian. I'm Canadian based. I live in Toronto. All of my work has either been in Toronto. I've done a gig in Montreal. I've done gigs out east in the East Coast, and I've done gigs in Vancouver, but never in the States. And this was my first ever work in the United States. And it was trippy because it had to go really fast. Like, Disney got me my work visa to work down there. I crossed the border. I'm working in Los Angeles for the first time ever. And the director of the first ever episode, that first ever bit, it's Carl Weathers. He's directing me, right? Like, oh my God, Hollywood royalty right there. This is an action icon. I grew up watching from, Apollo Creed to, his character in Predator, obviously, and in Happy Gilmore. And so, like, you see him and his work in Arrested Development. Like, this is a man who is just, he's in every genre. He can do comedy, he can do drama, he can do action, everything. And here he is directing me in Star Wars. So that was just so mind-blowing. And I think I must have cried several times. I cried during my wardrobe fitting. I cried, like, it was just like, how could you not, right? Like,
I'm so proud of you for that.
I mean, thank you.
Who's to say we wouldn't have been in the same boat? Like, when you walk into the volume, was it just so like overwhelming? You just like a tear falls from a single tear,
It's like we're living in the future. Like, when you see, like, I saw it during my set visit. back in 2019, beginning of 2019, no, 2018. And it was just mind blowing because they had this was a virtual set, basically. They had it was that scene, and it was the episode that Dave was directing. And it was a scene where he's on Tatooine. He's in the spaceport, basically. The Mandalorians landed his ship, and they're in Pelimoto's docking bay, right? And it was a scene that I saw where it was the reveal of the child of Grogu for the first time. And I saw the puppets, and I'm standing there watching, going, "What the hell is that? Like, are you shitting me? Are you kidding?" And
no, you're fine,
like,
Paul.
Yeah,
You're
and
okay.
Dave's like, don't tell anybody. I'm like, I am not going to ruin this for anybody. Are you shitting me?
That's
it was
funny
amazing.
that he's like so casual. Like, hey, by the way, top secret.
I bet that NDA was not as casual.
Oh my God. I didn't have, well, that's the thing.
You didn't?
I don't remember signing an NDA, to be honest.
Wow.
I don't remember signing one, but it's like,
you're looking at a true fan right here.
Yeah.
You didn't sign an NDA. You had gold, not gold, platinum in your pocket. That's amazing.
Well, he wants to come back.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely, that's part of it. But another part is, I mean, Deborah's a friend of mine. Sure. I just met Dave. Like, really, is the first impression I want to give them is like, I can't keep my mouth shut.
You're selling it on Twitter.
Right? Exactly. So, but even more to the point is, I didn't want to rob anybody of the same reaction I had when I saw that, right? This is you want to share that joy. I don't want to be the guy that ruins it for people and goes, "Oh, and by the way, this is going to totally ruin it for you," but I get to be the one to say I saw it first. That's crap. I think that's absolute crap. And people who do that on purpose, they got to make better choices, basically.
Sure.
But it's just, I honestly, and that was the hardest thing to sit on because, my kids knew I was going to go shoot Mandalorian. My wife knew I was going, but I didn't tell them anything about seeing Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I watched. I wanted to see the looks on their faces. And I was it was great. That was harder than anything else. Is not talking about Baby Yoda.
So Paul, was the character that you played that was created by Filoni for you?
No, that he wasn't. Okay. I don't know what he ended up writing. I remember meeting with Deb afterwards. It was during the Toronto Film Festival. I guess that would have been 2019 at that point. And it's September. And she was like, I keep telling him, Dave, no, bigger, bigger, bigger. It's like, he needs more. And, anybody who's been in the industry, like, everybody's always got the best of intentions. Like, oh, I'm writing something for you. Mm-hmm. And I get it. And I'm flattered that you're even being thought of. But at the end of the day, it's a business. And you understand that sometimes the best laid plans, they just don't work out. Sure. There's nothing personal about it, but it just sort of happens. I found out later on that the role actually, they wanted Kevin Bacon to play initially.
Interesting.
Right? Yeah. And he said no.
You're part of the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon at this point?
Yeah, 6 degrees, right? So, and it was just like, no. So funny enough, it was actually Favreau who suggested me. Because from the way I heard it, they were looking for a replacement. And John, who I'd met just really briefly when I did my set visit beforehand, he was like, well, what about Dave's friend, Paul? Like, he's an actor, right? And I'm like, oh my God, like to hear it that way is just.
Whoa, Dave's friend.
Yeah, it's Dave's friend. But it's funny because it's kind of like it's this weird sort of, on one hand, yeah, it's super cool. It's like Dave Filoni's friend.
Yeah.
I'm
t-shirt.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like I'm considered one of his friends, right? But then on the other hand, and I'll tell you the story. I show up, I'm going to be shooting my first ever, scene in Los Angeles. I'm in Star Wars. Carl Weathers is directing me. I'm in costume. It's lunchtime, and the crew, everybody's getting to lunch, and it's outdoors because it's beautiful out. And I got my tray food, and I see Carl Weathers sitting there by himself at this table, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna introduce myself. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna have lunch with the man because he's my director. We're in the same scene together. Yeah, I'm feeling it. So I come up to him. I roll on up, and I'm feeling all confident. I say, "Excuse me, do you mind if I join you?" And he looks up, and I'm like, "Uh-oh." and he's just piercing eyes. Like the man has
Uh-huh.
charisma and presence. Like it's electric, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. And he's looking at me. He's chewing his food, and he kicks with his leg the chair out. That's across from him, but in front of me. He kicks it out for me to sit down on. And I'm like, oh, that's such a baller move.
He's that cool
like,
in real life.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so fucking sweet. And I go to sit down, and just as I start my downward trajectory, he says, just as long as you don't expect a conversation.
Oh,
and I'm like, fuck, I'm committed. I gotta sit down. I gotta sit down. I'm like, that's fair enough. I'm not gonna yak his ear off. And I made up in my mind that I'm not going to say anything else to him. Just going to smile, chew my food, keep my mouth closed, and that's it. And then I'm going to leave and shit my pants later on. And we're sitting there and we're eating, and he's looking at me, staring at me, and I'm like, oh God, what have I done? Like I've disturbed him because he's directing this episode and he's got a million things he needs to focus on. And I roll up on him like some happy-go-lucky idiot, as naive as a moron. And I asked to sit with him. So he's staring at me. I'm like, oh, bad choice. I made a bad choice. And he says, where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from Canada. I'm Canadian my parents are Korean. So I just can't, Korean Canadian? And he says, no. Yeah, he says, where are your people from? I said, I'm from Korea. My parents are Korean. He says, oh, you remind me of a friend of mine. You ever hear of Pat Morita? Like, yeah, yes, I have. And I'm like honored. He says, you have kind eyes. I'm like, oh my God, that's really nice. And we're eating. And then he says, and this is the whole point of my story. He finally goes, so we're working together. He's like, yeah, we're in that scene. He's like, oh yeah. He looks at me. So you're Dave's friend. I'm like, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
You're the guy who got the free job.
Yeah, he's like, No, he said, so whose friend are you? That's what it was. So whose friend are you again? It's like, oh, it's Dave. He's like, and I realized, because he didn't cast me. Usually the directors will cast an episode. Sure. I didn't have to audition for this. They offered me the part. I took it because how are you not going to take it? I had no idea what the part was going to be. Everything was code names. I honestly thought I was going to be under like 16 pounds of latex. And so I was super happy.
Horatio Sands, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Cause like when I was there, Horatio was there too.
Oh man.
And I couldn't tell who it was, but somebody's called him Horatio. And I went, okay, how many guys are named Horatio that are going to be, have a featured part? So I was like, and then I heard him over the phone. He was trying to get his friend to pick up a prescription for him at the drugstore. And he was calling the drugstore to say, let him pick it up. My name is Horatio Sands, S-A-N, so it was just like, okay, it's him.
Detective work.
Yeah. Maybe if he had kinder eyes, he wouldn't have to be under the makeup.
So it was, anyways, but it was interesting because that was my first ever brush with the whole idea of, not everybody who's on set had to audition for it. And so like I was kind of looked at it as like, oh, you were the friend. Oh, I see. Like, does your friend owe you? Like, do you owe your friend this or that? Like that part of nepotism that I wasn't really, I had never even sort of equated my presence being linked to. And it was one of these things for me. It's like, well, whoa. It's not like I'm like a community theater actor with zero professional experience or this or that. Like I've done my time. Like I've been a professional actor. I mean, in Canada for 25 years, but I've won some serious hardware up here. I mean, you mentioned the CSA, the Canadian Screen Award. That's our version of the Emmys, and I've won it 3 times for best actor in a comedy. Right, so like I've got craft, but nobody in LA knew, and more to the point, nobody cared because I hadn't done anything in the States. Right, so it's just like it's like being in the minors, and you could have hit like 25 home runs in the minor leagues. That's the minor leagues, and when you get into the big leagues. And that's what Hollywood is. This is the bigs. It's like a show me. It really is one of those things. So I was nervous AF going up there just because I had a lot to prove. And
But don't you find that ironic that you had a lot to prove? I mean, you work your ass off. I mean, no, I'm not trying to, you said it yourself. I mean, you're from Canada. It's not the big leagues. It's not the minor leagues, but it's not the big leagues, you know, and now you're defending yourself because you're Dave's friend. And you're like, no. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. I don't even know his middle name or initial, you know? It's just...
Yeah, but it really is one of those things where, because he didn't know my work. And his job as a director is to make the best story he can. And the best way to do that is to have the best available tools. Yep. And I don't blame him because I was an unknown quantity. You know, John casting me as well, like taking that leap to cast me, he's taking the word of Dave. Like Dave has seen my work on Kim's Convenience. And so he knows my work. Deb knows my work. And I know John probably went through and watched a few reels of mine or whatever, some of my work. But all my work on Kim's, oddly enough, it's done with an accent, right? Like Appa, the character I played, he doesn't speak, he speaks accented English. Right. And there's a weird sort of, I think, a stigma when people but use an accent in their roles, especially if it's not British. If it's a British accent, then oh my God, you've got instant credibility. But if you have a character that's playing an accent or using a voice that doesn't utilize perfect English, they're often thought as lesser. The status drops. And so, and the knee-jerk reaction, especially to Mr. Kim or Appa, is especially at the beginning when people didn't know who the character was that, oh my God, it's racist. And he's playing a caricature and that can't be real or this or that and blah, blah, blah. So it feels more like it's a party trick, you know? And so one of my biggest fears as a performer is, by reaching success, by playing a character like that, who's so different from who I am, a lot of people don't say, oh my God, that's an incredible bit of acting. That's craft, because he is completely turned into someone else. They don't see it that way. They sort of see it as, like, people are disappointed when they hear me speak in real life and go, oh my God, he doesn't have the accent. I don't know what to do. You know, they get freaked out and they're kind of disappointed that I don't have an accent. And it's like, well, yeah, that's my job. I'm an actor, right? You think they hit the lottery and found a guy who didn't speak English, who could do comedy, who could do drama, who could do all these things and carry a show on his back? No, of course I'm an actor. But there's still that stigma of, well, can he act without the accent? Well, it's like, oh my God.
Well, let me point out two things. Let me point out two things. Let me start with the first thing. One, you have an accent because you said a boot. You said a boot. And so you have a Canadian accent. All right. So so right there, you're being judged. Okay. Sorry. I'm just kidding. But number two, sorry. But number two, what I found fascinating, obviously you and I have never talked before until before the show. Yeah. Is that your Appa on Kim's Convenience, you're 20 years older than you are. It's amazing. And to be honest, I just thought, like you said, hit the lottery. They found this actor about the right age. I don't know what age you're supposed to be in Kim's Convenience, but with your oldest son, I don't know, you got to be in mid 50s, pushing 60 type of age. Yeah. I mean, Paul, you're nowhere near that, especially after I watched some YouTube vids. I'm like, that to me is the craft. The accent actually, for me, it doesn't matter, you know, as much because, you know, you're playing a part that you're, you know, at least in some way connected to, right? I mean, your parents probably had accents. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't even know how that could be, you know, misconstrued as you know, trying to get in by, I don't know how you put it better than I can remember how you put it. But anyway, so, so that's what I found. I was absolutely floored when I watched some of your YouTubes. I'm like, oh, this guy's like my age, man. Yeah. You've progressed a little better in the gray than I have, but I'm getting there, buddy. I'm getting there.
That's kids, man.
Paul, your beard is A game, you know.
Thank you.
Especially when you get dressed up for like an award show and that nice curl is tight. Oh yeah. and it's got the dark into the light. I mean,
thank you.
How much
this showing it.
I'm like looking. Yeah, I was looking at it. I'm like, oh yeah.
No, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
You did kind of address this on your most recent stream, but what kind of beard products are you using to get that mustache out there and to get the nice swoop? on the jawline? What are we working with here?
Yeah, what do we got to do here? What do Andy and I need to improve on?
Well, first of all, it's the length. You need length to be able to work and shape it.
Oh, damn it.
So it's just that horrible, painful period of the in-between, right? Because you guys know what it's like.
Yep.
It's either you got to keep it nice and tight and trimmed, or
Yep.
you got to get it long. You got to get length for it to be able to shape it. And it's those weeks in between as it transitions from something really like nice and tight to something shaggy and unkempt to something a bit longer. Because once it gets that length, then you can really start to have fun styling it and stuff. So I'm reaching that peak period right now where the length is good, where it's starting to keep shape when I do style it. So I use beard oil and a beard balm as well. And you kind of have to, oh, thanks, Scotty. You have to kind of train your hair to start growing in a certain direction, because my hair likes to curl this way. As it gets longer, it curves this way. And so it is really sort of every morning just keeping it so that it stays a little bit, it starts to get a memory to grow this way. But I'm just recently getting it to this point, because before it's just all over the place. And
Can
it's
I
funny.
just point out? Oh, sorry.
No. I put more product in my beard than I use on my face or my hair. Like, I have no hair, right? Except for on my face. But it's like, I remember sitting in the makeup chair, and first of all, Andrew Bung, my brother from another mother, he plays kimchi on the show, and he's always sitting there, and he thought I spent hours in the chair. And I was like, what do you mean? It's like, oh, to just sort of, make you older. I'm like, dude, I'm like 10 minutes in the chair. They trim my beard and they put a little bit of powder on, and I'm out. It's like, what? It's like, did you, what? It's all acting, man. I'm like, they don't do that. He thought they made me, like, they put white in my beard. It's like, no, this is all natural. But another time was, they always remark how the hair and makeup, they always love my skin. It's like, oh, your skin is beautiful. What do you do? I said, I just use soap and water and
bathe
wash my
regularly.
face. Yeah. And Amanda Brugel, who plays Pastor Nina, she turns around, she's like, fuck off. She goes, I spend over $1,000 on a skin regimen for all this stuff, and you just pick a soap today that I can wash my face. So for me to use any sort of beard product is a lot for me. But I figure since I am follically challenged, I'm going to go the extra effort with this. And I have a nice brush that my wife got me, like a beard brush that I'll use in the morning and stuff. But
you take care of the hair that you have,
and
that's the deal. And I'm with you.
And true or false, Paul, wearing a mask really fricks up the bottom part of the beard too.
Yeah, you get that hat hair,
hat
head thing, right? Yeah.
God,
so
that's why I had to trim it up. I had to trim it up because of that. It ticks me off.
So guys, let me say this to all of you out there. If you want to know how good a guy Paul is, just rewind it 3 minutes when Andy asked a shit question and Paul gave him a real answer. That's how good a guy he is.
All right.
Take care of that beautiful beard. And he's like, I'll freaking tell you how I take care of this beautiful beard. Watch this. I love it, Paul. Thank you. I've learned. I got to go through the growth phase.
If we end the show right now, it's been a good evening.
Oh, let's we'll have to put the more you know symbol. I love it.
All right, let's get this back on track here. So now that you have been cast to be Uncle Iroh in the Avatar, which is why you were in Vancouver, you're going to be able to hit all sorts of festivals and cons as a Star Wars entity and as an anime entity.
As a god, it sounds like.
You are going, your line should be full everywhere you go. Like, how interested are you in hitting the con circuit now that you're like in two worlds as a major dude?
Honestly, this is like my dream come true. I go to cons. That's my lifeblood. Like, I would go to cons, and for forever and a day, my wish was always to be on the other side, to be invited to cons to appear as a guest and to answer people's questions and meet with the fans. And even after the success of Kim's Convenience, it was really hard initially for us to get any sort of traction at any cons in Canada. And it's this weird thing because they've all become fan expos now. Like up here, fan exposition. They're not just sci-fi or fantasy or horror centric anymore. They're not just comic book centric anymore. It really is about fandom in all its different forms. And so you'll have wrestlers and you'll have other popular TV show cast members show up now, which is great. And I think that's what it is, because fandom is so much more than these little tight categories. And there's so much cross-pollination going on. I mean, why not hit everything up? Fan Expo in Vancouver, it's like 2 weeks from now, right? I want to be there. If it doesn't get canceled, I want to go. Like, I want to go. And if I don't get invited, I want to go as a fan, because I love that. I love it. And so for me to finally get a chance to get invited to these things as a guest now, it's like,
oh, you're there. You're there, bro. You're there, bro. You're there.
You're there.
And one of the things is that I love is because I am a fan. Like, I get it. And I always try to treat people how I always wanted to be treated as a fan. And I think that's really served me well. I mean, people are always they're so polite and so lovely. And oh, we really sorry to bother you. It's like, honestly, it's not a bother. Like, without fans, my popularity is nowhere for any show. The fans make or break a show, a performer, anything. And really, you need to show that respect. You need to show that, you need to honor that. And for me, it takes nothing to talk and say hi and to connect with people. And I actually really, really love that. And that comes from, as well, finding success at a much later period in my career and in my life, because I know how difficult it is to be on to get onto a show, or to even be on a show that is a good show, that is critically acclaimed and that fans like. So I appreciate it a lot more. And I always try to treat my fans number one, just because they deserve it. And anybody who invests any kind of time in something that I do, I think I'm so humbled by that. And I'm very grateful for that. So,
well, Paul, it definitely shows. I mean, especially if you watch, and Paul, why don't you do a shout out real quick for your YouTube channel? Go ahead, shout it out.
Yeah, no, I mean, thank you so much. I've got my own YouTube channel. It's called Bitter Asian Dude Inc. And one of the main shows, it's once a week it's called Fun Boxing Sundays, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern time. That'll be 3 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. And what I do is I get a geeky collectible, I unbox it, I do a half-ass review, and basically we chat. And that's what it is. It's just a lot of fun. And it is about community building as well. So I've got a great group of members and subscribers who join in, and we talk about anything and everything. And we had a lot of fun doing it too. It's just, it's fun.
That's my whole point, is that, like, watching a few of your episodes, I mean, I don't know. It's just what you were saying. You love your fans. You're not putting on any pretense in your show. You are, and here I'm gonna give away a little behind the scenes here. You're in an apartment hotel while you're on set on location, and you're still doing your streams. I mean, that was one of your top priorities, was to bring gear so that you get out there. I just love it, because that to me is true fandom and loving your fans.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and that's it. I mean, it's amazing, because the channel started at the beginning of this pandemic, really, for just a bit of a lark. It was just for something to do. My youngest was like, do an unboxing video. You got all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And if you watch my first video, I shot it on my iPhone at my dining room table. And, so cool. My family's walking back and forth. At one point, I accidentally turned off the camera. I didn't realize it, and was talking for like 10 minutes before I realized it was off. And so it was like, oh my God. So I had to redo it, but I had so much fun doing it. And then when people started watching it and subscribing to it, it was a great challenge, because I wanted to up my game, and I wanted, the production values to be a little bit better. I wanted the sound quality to be better, and the collectibles. And it just sort of turned into this really cool, fun community building thing. And I think for me, fandom at its finest is when we are uplifting and celebrating each other. You know, instead of gatekeeping, or instead of, oh, thanks, Jason. That's amazing. Thank you so much. But that's when we use our powers for good. I love it. It gives me goosebumps. And I love to see that camaraderie there, where people are and they're sharing information, and their excitement about things, and welcoming new fans, because that's what it should be about. Like, it's getting as many people interested in the same shit that you love as possible, instead of like guarding it like a dog with a bone, saying, no, back off. I got this first. Only I can know about this. It's just, I don't understand that sort of sentiment. And there is a lot of that out there. in fandom, it's a lot of gatekeeping. Like, you couldn't possibly be a fan. I was an OG fan back in the day when it wasn't popular, type thing. And it's just like, that trope is funny, you know, on The Simpsons as a comic book guy, but in real life, it's quite sad. And you have way more fun when you can share that joy with other people and share that knowledge and help people get their grails or their collectibles or talk about pre-orders and helping each other out. I mean, I think 100%. That's the best part of toy collecting, of fandom, of all that. It's just like, hey, you know, life is short. Like, you don't spend your energy getting mad at people or trying to expend energy hiding something. It's like,
oh, Paul, you're speaking our language, buddy.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I did just think of maybe a drawback going to these cons now as you instead of as a fan. It's going to be weird going to get your autograph when you're in a full Ghostbusters outfit and then getting in line with me to go see somebody else, you know?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Andy, I literally thought you said you were going to go to a Comic-Con as Paul. So that's sorry.
I got to work on the beard, but give me some time.
You know what's going to happen, Paul. You know what's going to happen. Has it happened yet?
Yeah.
Has it happened yet? Okay.
Yeah,
good.
I've actually. It's like, oh my God, it's so flattering, cool. Man. It's awesome. It's so much fun. And thank you, Jeff, for subscribing to my channel.
Hey, there's a lot of subs, by the way, in the chat, and we want to thank the chat for joining us. A lot of guys saying nice stuff. We're trying to keep it focused on you, Paul, but I'm trying to throw up a lot of nice stuff going on in there. And thanks everybody.
That's very cool. Thank you.
I think this would actually be a great little segue in, you know, Captain Carson Teva doesn't have his own figure yet.
Here we go.
But
here we go.
There have been some fan made versions.
Yeah.
Have you seen any? Do you have any? Do you have any customs of you?
Yes, and they've all been gifted to me, which has been so mind blowing. I've gotten three different figures, 2 from a fan named Corey Halsey. And those are great. Like, that was the first ones that I got, and they were the 3.75 inch figs. He had custom done a head and put it on Jack Porkin's body, and then put beautiful boxes, cards on them, which is great. And the other one is from my buddy Jason Lowe, who did a 6-inch fig on it, which was fantastic as well. And he done the custom sort of paint job on it as well, and the helmet. He done a custom paint job on a helmet, and there is somebody. So I followed. There's another channel called Justin's Collection, and Justin has a friend who does sculpts for 1/6 scale, and so they're working on a rendering for 1/6 scale Carson Teva for the last, I think, 6 months now, and so I think we're getting close to seeing it. So that's
well, you're too good a guy. Cool. You're getting a figure. You're gonna get a figure. It's gonna happen, buddy.
I've got 3 examples that I pulled up online of customs here, and I want you to. There's a Lego, a Funko, and a 3.75. So I want you to tell me. I want you to rank them, which you like best here. Okay, here we go. Here's the first one.
So angry.
Yeah,
so angry.
He looks like a bitter Asian dude.
Yeah. He's got more of a goatee, not the full beard.
Right. Yeah, we need more beard on that.
I think that's what sort of threw me off.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Here's the next one.
Oh yeah, I have that one. Actually.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. That was sent. That's Kathy sent it. Yeah, I've seen that one. That's a great one. I have that one at home, actually.
That's cool.
Great. And then the third.
And that's the one from Jason Lowe.
Okay.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That one's excellent.
Yeah. Can you guys hold on a second?
Yeah.
You got to give me a second here. I got to go grab something. Hold on a second. Just
fine, buddy. Oh, Paul, go ahead, buddy.
Well, this is freaking sweet, man.
It's a great reason.
Paul's awesome.
Hey guys, it's Josh.
And chat. I know you guys are doing the Lord's work in there, chatting with each other and putting questions up, and we've got some patron questions that we're going to get to here pretty soon. And then we've got a spinner, and then we've got some of the best comments on what this Vader cologne might actually smell like.
I know exactly what it smells like.
Yeah, you do.
And you're all wrong. That's too good.
Yeah. No, thank you guys for showing up here. This is like I said.
Yeah, this is where we get to pay attention to these guys. I'll tell you what, there's been some great comments in there. I'm sorry if we didn't get you all, it's fine. The focus is on Paul right now. But the focus is always on you guys because I keep glancing over. Oh, look, he's back. Paul's back.
Sorry.
No. It's good. It's good. You gotta maintain.
Oh man, you're a busy man. It's okay. Take care of
No, I'm sorry about that. Sorry.
Was it pizza delivery?
Room service?
It's my cocaine.
You gotta stay up late.
When the Coke man comes knocking, you can't not answer the door. What else am I gonna do?
Pod.
So back to Avatar real quick. Just a quick question. You had talked about how you were able to get on the Mandalorian through Deborah because you had a connection there. I know when we were talking before this, you said that you had been mentioned in fan casting for Airbender for a year or two, at least leading up to any sort of announcement or anything like that.
That's
what
cool.
What was that? Was it the actual fan push that got your foot in the door, or was it another connection of somebody that you know, or was it just your agent reaching out saying, "Hey, my dude would be perfect for this role"?
Yeah, I can tell you 100%. It wasn't. We didn't reach out. It's interesting because the fan casting started back in because Avatar, they had announced for a couple of years now that they were going to be adapting the animation into a live action show. And that's right. There's a connection with Dave Filoni.
Sorry, I had to throw that up. That was a good one from Geek Strong. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah,
it's actually housekeeping. They come in and once a week, and they're very persistent. So if they just would have come in and if I hadn't dealt with it. So.
Oh, you should have brought him on, man. No. You should have brought him on. That takes us to another level.
It would have been too weird. Anyways. So what happened was, they'd announced it, and fans immediately started fan casting me just because I looked like Iroh, which was great. And it was just like, oh my God, yeah, I do look like him. But that's kind of not how the industry works, right? Just because it's not that simple to cast people sometimes, right? And what ended up happening was I was doing Kim's Convenience anyway, so I was completely unavailable. And in terms of developing the project, from what I heard as well, there were delays obviously in the process. Like the original creators ended up leaving the show for their reasons, and then the pandemic hit, which delayed everything. And so what ended up happening was, Kim's ended. We're going through the pandemic, and a few months ago, I got a request to audition for a Netflix series, and it was called what was it called? It's called Blue Dawn. It was called Blue Dawn, and I was like, oh, okay. And the description was
the sequel to Red Dawn.
Yeah, I wish. Right? No, it was a basketball movie. I was like, oh, okay, and it was just like
you're a baller. You're probably a baller.
I'm so not a baller. I love baseball, hockey, football, basketball. I'll follow it, especially with the Toronto Raptors. When they won the championship, that's when I really sort of got invested in basketball for a while, like everybody else in Canada. But it's a sport that I'm not as into, so I couldn't tell you what an illegal defense looked like. I couldn't spot traveling. All these different sort of rules for basketball. It's just a sport that I don't follow. Not that I don't enjoy it. It's just I'm not super into it. And so I was like, oh, okay, it's interesting. And it was for the part, the guy's name was Harold. And he used to be this amazing, an amazing player and a fantastic coach. And he was like this really famous collegiate coach of basketball teams. And he ended up retiring. And he comes out of retirement to mentor his 16-year-old nephew, who is a basketball prodigy. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm reading the script. And for whatever reason, the lines were super easy to memorize. Like they were just like, oh, okay. And I got a sense of the character, put myself on tape, submitted it, and then promptly forgot about it. And then about a month later, my agent texts me and she's like, okay, so, Blue Dawn, they want a director producer session on Zoom. I've never auditioned over Zoom before. It's always been in person. So it was weird. And it was like, oh, okay. And I was like, what the hell is Blue Dawn? Like, I completely forgotten what it was. Because it's like, if you don't hear from it, if you don't book it, then you forget about it, right? Like, that's a coping mechanism I think all actors should take, is you flush it. Once it's done, it's done. Because if you ruminate, if you obsess over it, and you don't get it, it's brutal, right? Like, it's just, after a while, that takes an effect on you. So I'd promptly forgotten all about it. And then I had to look it up. I was like, oh, the basketball movie. It's like, oh, that's cool. Good. I thought I did a good job on that one. And, casting, they resent me the script again. There was a little note saying, by the way, the character's name in the sides that you got, and his name is Harold, but his real name is Iroh. And I was like,
whoa, no
shit.
Way. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So I was like, oh no. And then all of a sudden I started getting nervous, because it was just like, it became something. And then it was like, of course, it makes sense, right?
Perfect. You're a mentor to a great player. Yeah.
Ex-basketball coach, ex-general. But it was written, the sides were perfectly written, because it was just like, it was him mentoring his younger nephew to just sort of relax a little bit, right? To enjoy these things. And like, if you're going, like, and he introduces him to these, to this really tough sort of, like, in the sides, I think it was like called, it was called The Cage. And it's like, where all the best basketball players in the world practice, but it's like street ball. And so there's no refs, there's no calls, this or that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it just suddenly made sense. It was like, okay. And they totally, and they'll do this. They will rewrite scenes, or they'll give you fake scenes to audition for that are in the same vein of the character. It might not be the specific subject matter, but they're looking for character. Can you play this character correctly? And whoever wrote those sides too, man, they deserve a medal, because those were just spot on.
Doesn't it make you want to go back and make movies out of the fake scripts for other movies?
My God. Yeah.
I mean, think about that. It's like Blue Dawn needs to be made. All right. It needs to be made.
That's funny.
I love it.
I think absolutely. And so it's a really cool thing. So then I got really nervous, because it was like, I know what this is for. Oh my God. And then immediately I thought, they haven't cast this part yet? Like, what the hell? So I went and I did the Zoom audition, the callback, and then immediately they had me do a chemistry read with Dallas Liu, who they had already cast as Zuko. And it's weird, man. Like, doing an audition over Zoom is weird. Just because if you're looking at the screen, you're not looking at the camera.
Well, it's kind of like how we have to interact with you. Like, you're right here. I want to see you talk, but really I should look at the camera, so it looks like I'm part of the audience's view.
That's exactly it.
And so you're a professional.
I'll just throw at the camera, right? Like, I'll just look at the camera and this and that. And I'll peek down eventually. But it's weird, because they want to see your face while you're interacting with your co-star or your scene partner. And it's really hard to do. So what I ended up having to do is I took the camera and I put it in front of the monitor, so it looked like the eye line was fake. Yeah. So I'm looking at Dallas, but it looks like I'm looking at
there's
give us one line. Give us one line, because you memorize them real easy. Come on, give us one line from Blue Dawn, ladies and gentlemen. Exclusive Blue Dawn line.
Take one.
No, I don't. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
You don't have to do a Blue Dawn line. We know it's already going to be a blockbuster.
No.
Don't give it away.
Here's the other thing too. So there obviously is a huge net of secrecy around it.
Sure.
Netflix, they are like the PR department, and I get it. They don't want any leaks. They don't want anything to sort of come out that would be considered a spoiler. And you know me. I mean, I just told you the story about Baby Grogu.
Yeah, you did. You saw Baby Yoda and kept your mouth shut.
So I take that seriously. And but to that point, so I was doing my live stream a few weeks ago in November in Vancouver at the different another hotel I was staying at, and I was praising the other actors that were in the show, because we'd done a table read, and them being involved in the show was a matter of public record. They'd already announced like months ago that it was going to be Gordon Cormier, Kia Wendio, Ian Owsley, and Dallas Liu. They were going to be the top four the characters. And so on my live stream, I'm just sort of talking about how I think they're fantastic actors. Now I did a table read, how impressed I was. I pumped all of them up, and deservedly so. And was like, okay, and this is just on my YouTube channel, right? I've got like 15,000 subscribers, whatever, on any given night for the live stream. I've got I've plateaued out at 109 concurrent viewers, right? So not very many people watch. And the next day on these Avatar news sites, they have clips of my YouTube channel where I'm talking about the cast. And like, Paul Sun-Hyung Lee talks about Airbender, and like, oh shit.
That's already a problem right there.
And then, so it's like, oh my God. So not only were they watching my live stream or somebody tweaked them onto it, they did a screen clip cap. They captured a clip and they posted it. And the biggest takeaway from that was the bylines were so misleading because it made it sound like all I was doing was giving up Avatar secrets. And I wasn't doing anything of the sort. But it's like it's clickbait material, right? They want people to click on their site and to watch the clip or whatever. And so like I'm on set the next day, and the PR department comes up to me and like, do you handle your own socials, or do you have people doing that? And I'm like, no, it's just me. And like, yeah. I said, okay, like we need to talk. Yeah, we need to talk. And it's like, I did nothing wrong. And then I started getting pissed off because it's like, I did nothing wrong. And if you think I've done something wrong, I mean, and that's the thing, it's like, don't just go off of like, actually look at that material, see what it is reported I've been saying, like do your due diligence, be a cop about it, right? Like you need to do that, and don't be lazy. And not that I'm calling them lazy, but it just felt like a knee-jerk reaction to something. And I understand they're doing their jobs, but it made me feel like such an unprofessional, like an amateur. And it's like, yeah, but I didn't give anything away that isn't public knowledge. And in fact, what I'm doing is this is great publicity for this show, because you have somebody from the outside who has a bit of credibility in terms of like my body of work and stuff. And if I'm espousing these great talents and, getting people excited for the show because they've got great actors on the show, that's a good thing.
But that's, and even getting a little bit of a, unwarranted hype, unwarranted connections. And I think, half of a PR company's job is to get a nearly accurate, but not even close accurate rumor out there, right? That's what they're supposed to do, is get something out there that makes people wonder like, oh my gosh, is this true? Yeah. And then the real truth is better than the fake truth that they made up from somebody, so I don't understand that, especially if you're just talking about how you appreciate the quality of the actors you're with,
I think what it is in this day and age now, they want to orchestrate the timing of certain events. Sure. And I get that, right? Like they want to be in charge of when specific things get dropped, because they have a whole strategy planned out in advance of when they want certain bits of information to be dropped, so they can capitalize on the momentum or create that momentum, right? And nowadays, too, with social media, you got a lot of younger stars or other people who aren't savvy on social media who are giving it away. A way to, and then what that does is it disrupts their release schedule and stuff. And so I get it. And, I think that's the question they were asking. Like, do you have somebody who does your PR, or do you do it by yourself? Like all my socials I run myself, and I try to be as interactive as I can. I understand now why people hire other people to just do that, because once you get to a certain point, it's like a 9-to-5 job. Like if I were to just respond to everybody who reaches out on one platform, that'd be like an 8-hour day. So you have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and the YouTube channel, Tinder, Grindr, whatever. Just kidding.
No, that's all right. No,
it's a lot.
No judgment here. No judgment.
Bumble, So it's one of those things where I do as much as I can, but at a certain point, I'm like, I just have to stop, because I don't have as much as I'm willing to do it. I just physically don't have the time to do it. And I also have to look out for my own mental health too, because sometimes it can get
a lot.
Yeah,
I would say aside from maybe a PR smackdown or whatever, just keep being your genuine self. I think that remember, if you talk about authenticity, which by the way, in your video I watched today, you were talking about the wrinkle that you lost a point on, and
Terry
Smith. That was based on the authenticity. Look, nobody's straightening my shirts out.
There
My
you
shirt
go.
looks this good on its own.
Well, and you know, Paul, don't be afraid to throw out that you do know my friend Dave, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no. There we go. Here we go. This is the comment we had. We need to talk. Have you met my friend Dave? I mean, Disney, Netflix. You know.
Hey, real quick here. A buddy of ours, he just sent me a picture of a custom Black Series that he made of you.
Okay.
So just wanted to put that up here for you.
Oh,
is that Ochre Studios?
Yeah, that's Vern.
Yeah. Okay. Right on.
Yeah.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's
it's
a good likeness. It's a good likeness.
Yeah.
So you know, anytime you get a figure, it'll be not soon enough. I didn't say that right, but you know,
appreciate that. I appreciate that. It's so funny because so Dave got his first, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And
why?
What a prima donna!
Doesn't everyone know you're Dave's friend? I mean, come on. Dave puts his friends first.
I love it because I think he secretly loves it, but is secretly completely he's mortified. But at the same time, it's like that whole, oh my god, they made an action figure of me, and then there's a part of him that's like, oh my god, they made an action figure for me. Like that's everybody's reaction to it, right? Like a little horrified, but secretly thrilled, right? And it was funny because I was teasing him, and I said, you know, I'm trying to get your figure, I'm trying to get pre-order for it, but and he was like, what? No, I'll send you one. It's like, really? It's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, that's
what
so
friends
cool.
do.
Yeah, and I said, can I be that asshole and ask you to sign it for me?
Yeah, did you see it?
And he did. He signed, and he drew. See, and if you can get a Dave Filoni sketch,
yes.
Oh my.
And so he drew. He did a little sketch of the Mando on there, and it's just like, oh, that's awesome. And for him, it's a doodle. Like he just doodles. And it's gold.
It's good. Yeah, yeah.
But
I don't know what your payday was for your Mandalorian gig, but that Filoni sketch might double.
Oh my god!
Hey, Paul, are you ready for? I think we haven't even gotten talking your YouTube channel and toys yet, but we've got a few.
We're here all night, man.
I know, but like we've got a few questions from our patrons that like to fire at you here real quick.
For sure.
If you don't mind, they're going to range a little bit here. First of all, Gary, who we actually just put his comment up here, Gary Moore wants to know, do you have any items in your collection that came from roles as an actor?
I'm just trying to think. I have a whole bunch of Kim's Convenience, like screen use props and costumes that I kept. I have like 2 pairs of his slippers, his iconic slippers. I have 2 pairs. Okay. I've got a pair of the glasses, the Upper glasses that I want to actually get my actual prescription lenses in so I can just rock them because I love them. Scripts, nameplates, this stuff from, I'm just trying to think of through the years, like for the Hot Toys stuff. I mean, I after doing that set visit on Mandalorian, for me, it was like all Mandalorian all the time. So anything I can collect that is Mandalorian related, I gotta have. But I've had to stop with the Black Series just because I've fallen down that Hot Toy as well. And it's just like, something's got to give. And there's just not enough space. So it's like, goodbye, Black Series. Hello, Hot Toys. Just because, the distribution for the Black Series stuff is a mess. And it's I don't find joy in hunting for them now because it's such a crapshoot, and it's just so the release schedule is interesting, and the exclusives like the Walgreens, the Walmart, the Target stuff. We don't have them, all those up here. We have Walmart. That's it. And so the limited access to those figures and the scarcity of them. Whereas Hot Toys, I just love the size of them. First of all, the scale and the detail you can get to them. There's more bang for your buck with them, and it's just the release schedule is a little bit less stressful than the Black Series one. So I've just gotten onto the to the Hot Toys big time.
Well, let me ask you a sub question to that then. If you could only pick one, helmets or Hot Toys?
Oh my god,
which is it? because you've got quite a helmet collection.
Yeah, but I can keep the helmets I have, or would I have to get rid of them? That's my qualifier.
You can only collect one from here on out.
Well, see, I use the helmets for cosplaying as well. So some of the helmets that are on display, I actually do use for cosplay.
Gotcha.
The other ones I don't. But
that's a terrible question. How painful. What are we trying to do to our guest here?
Yeah. Would you rather lose your thumb?
Yeah.
Or would you rather lose your index finger? Which one would you rather lose?
All right, maybe better question here from Jason O'Toole. As an accomplished actor, did you enjoy working on Mandalorian more as an actor or as a fan?
Oh my God, that's a good question. It was more stressful working on it as an actor, just because I am such a fan, if that makes sense, right? Like I didn't, like I said, when Carl's like, whose friend were you again? It was like throwing down the gauntlet where it's like, okay, I got to prove myself. I got to prove that I'm not just some rube that fell off the back of a tomato truck. And it's just like, oh my God, I'm such a big fan. Like I wanted to prove that I belonged on that set with all these professionals. And so it was like, it was a great challenge as a performer as well. Like I really, really dug my heels in. It was just like, okay, let's go. You can throw whatever you want at me and I will give it to you because that's my job. And it was great because the first scene that we did was that scene with Gina Carano where I'm giving her the medal and we have to talk about Alderaan and stuff. And that's a tough scene to do because it's all about subtext, and it is, Carl was there directing the episode, but John was there overseeing everything too, right? Yeah. And so you got two big heavy hitters there scrutinizing your work. And I wanted to prove that I belonged there. So it was a bit of a stressful day, that first day. But then after that, everybody just suddenly relaxed and could breathe because they were like, okay, well, this guy, he knows what he's doing, because every redirect they gave me, I gave back, like I gave to them, right? And so we did so many different variations of it, and I was able to stick with it. And so after that, I know for sure Carl just he relaxed around me. It was great. And so it was a really fun experience, but it's one of those things where you really do have to prove that you belong there.
It's cool. Andy, can I add an add-on to this question real quick?
Yes, go for it, Josh.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Paul, the scene with you and Dave in the X-Wings pulling over the Razor Crest.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it, right? That was your guys' motivation. Look, we're a couple of state troopers. I mean, you guys are so cool in that. You're so relaxed. You're so absolutely like routine traffic stop.
It's combined.
I mean, is that what it
Maverick
was?
And Ice. It's Maverick and Iceman.
It was so good. Yeah.
Meets Chips. You know what I mean?
It's the writing. Honestly, like Favs, he wrote that scene.
It's so
the
good.
way he sees all the New Republic pilots they have been through a galactic civil war.
All of it.
They've survived. And so if they roll up, it's like a Texas Ranger. Just sort of like if a Ranger pulls up, you're like, oh shit, getting real, right? Like one Ranger, one riot type thing. And so these guys, they roll on up and they see this junker, this old M111 Razor Crest. It's an antique. They're in, their T-75 X-Wing fighters. They've been around the block a few times. And so, they're not worried whatsoever. So when he bolts,
score marks. Fine.
Yeah. Filoni, like Trapper Wolf, he's an ace. Like if you look at the markings on his X-Wing, he's an ace pilot. And so it's this whole, like, we got a runner. It's like, okay, I'm on it. Let's go. And the last thing they want to do is fire on him, because they know they would just obliterate him. And so the whole time they're saying, don't do it. Don't make us do it, man, because we'll do it. And they gave him so much rope. And that was fun to play.
That's what I'm asking. Like you just literally are just sat back in your seat. You're just, you got the stick. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
This guy's nothing. We think he's amazing, right? As the viewer, we're just this is a Mandalorian. These guys are going to go down. And then it just never happens all the way to the part where you guys are just like, fix your own ship and fly away.
It's so funny. We get so much flack for that, like from fans. It's so funny. I still get chirped because, like, you couldn't at least help him fix his ship. And I always respond like, that's not my job. My job as a New Republic, as a Ranger out there is I'm not here to help you get a cat out from under a tree or this or that. I'm here to protect what's going on. My job is to sweep for Imperial remnants and whatnot. And the thing is, he bolted on us, man. Like, you get what you deserve. You
This guy's
run.
a criminal. This guy's a criminal.
It's like, you're lucky.
Haven't
we're
you ever
not
been
bringing
driving
you
down
in.
you've been driving down the freeway, you've seen the little old lady with the tire flat, and 500 yards in front of her, state troopers got a guy pulled over going too fast. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's not his job.
It's one of those things. And then somebody quoted the Ice-T Body Count song to me. I was like, oh yeah. That's really. But they were see, that's the thing. This, like, you know, the police were harassing him. We weren't really harassing the Mandalorian, although we were jerking his chain a bit. I mean, that was the fun note. It was just like, it's like, yeah, you know, you just, oh, by the way, we're gonna need to see, you know, we're gonna need you to send us a ping. You know, so
it's one of my favorite scenes as you rolling in, because that was our first introduction to your character, you know, and I was just like, oh, you know, obviously I'm going, that's Kim's Convenience, you know. I love Paul, and now I know your name. I didn't know your actor name then, but, you know, but it was just awesome, and you're just so chill. It's like, come on, don't make us do it.
So much fun.
Are you ready for another question here, Paul?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, this is from Greg of Red 5 Designs. As a fan of Kim's Convenience, it blew my mind seeing you enter the Star Wars universe, especially knowing that you're such a big fan yourself. Can't imagine how incredible it must feel, but does seeing yourself on screen in Star Wars affect your enjoyment differently as a fan or a viewer, or are you able to just separate yourself from what's happening on the screen? Like, because if it were me, I'd be like, ha, that's me. I'm up there, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What do you think?
That's me. That is me too. Like,
good.
I see. It's how often do you get a chance to have your dreams come true?
Yeah,
and to see it, and not only that, but have other people enjoy it as well and cheer for you when they see that. That means a lot. Like the responses I got from friends, from fans, they were so happy to see me on there. You can't imagine how much that carried me and how amazing that feels to have that kind of support. And I am always humbled by that. Like the response has been, I knew people were gonna like go, oh my God, it's him, but I didn't think to the level it got to. And I'm so thankful for that. And it brings me such joy, just so much joy. And it's just like, I get a kick out of it. And does it affect my experience? Yeah, it amplifies it like 2 million, right? So
perfect answer.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Perfect answer.
All right. Well, let's get into some collector questions here because we've got, I think, 3 collector questions for you.
All right.
Amy Mulder of Framey, who is with us in the chat here tonight, says, as a collector, is there a thing that you got that you now think, man, that was the dumbest thing I've ever gotten?
Yeah, there's a couple.
All right.
There's a couple.
Okay.
We're not talking about this week, Paul. Yeah. I mean, just in general.
No, well, it's funny. There's a segment that I have on my show that was like, what was I thinking? Right. Yeah. And one of them was it was a Batarang from the 1989 Batman. It was like a Batarang replica, 1-to-1 scale. I was like, oh, okay. It's like I'm very Star Warsy, very Marvel-y, but mostly Star Wars. I love the Marvel stuff, but I can't collect it because I'd be broke. Like I got to stay in my lane, right? Like it's just too much, and then like I have no room as it is. But I picked it up because I was like, you know, it sounds really cool. It looks awesome, and I unboxed. It was $20. I'm like, $20, come on, it'll look great. I unboxed it, and it was like the cheapest. It was so disappointing because it unfolded and it was like really cheap feeling. It was like this plasticky, like hard plastic thing. The display that it came up was a vacuum form pull. Basically, it was like a clamshell that had Batman written on it. And that was supposed to be the display. And I was like, what the hell? Like, why did I do that? That's like I just felt like really stupid for having bought that. I mean, it did serve its purpose because I gave it to my youngest, who immediately loved it and started whipping it around the house.
Sure.
So it's like, okay. Perfect. But just recently, I got something from Toy Traders, which is a great store out in Langley, BC, just gigantic. And it was Hero Collectibles. They do a line of fantastic, like if you're into Star Trek or Battlestar Galactica or little miniature starships, they've got a fantastic line called the Hero Collectors. And I started by getting all the Battlestar Galactica, like the the battle stars, the Cylon base ships, the Vipers, the Cylon Raiders, and they're great. Like the detail on them are amazing. And they released it was a 1-to-1 scale replica of Tony Stark's arc reactor, the Mark I arc reactor that he built in that cave. And it's, the one that's framed like Pepper Potts put this big ring around it saying proof that Tony Stark has a heart type thing. And so I'm like, oh my God, that's fantastic. Instant buy. It's $100 Canadian, which is, I think, like $5 American. So
it's the other way around.
No, it's like, I think it's like closer to $80. It would be like $80 American. So I got it and I'm like all excited and it's great. And it comes with a little stand and really heavy base, but it doesn't light up. Like you would think that for $100, it would light up at the very least. You can like LEDs, small batteries. That's a slam dunk. Wasn't there. And there was like no metal. It was all resin, hard plastic. The base felt nice and heavy, but the rest of it looked nice. But it was just like for $100, I was like, oh my God, that was so stupid. Like, why did I buy that? So out of spite, like I unboxed it on my channel and I just ripped it to shreds because it's like, it looks nice, but this is like a $20 nice. Ooh. This is a $25 nice for a display, no lights, no case. That's a $25, not $100. Like that's shame on you, hero collectors. So out of spite, I went online and I searched for one that's, it's coming through. I ordered it on Amazon. I found it on Amazon. They would deliver it here. And it's an arc reactor. It's die-cast metal and it lights up and it has sound and it comes in an acrylic case for $20 more. So
yeah, how do you not light up the arc reactor? I don't get
thing.
it. I don't get it. Like, there's no point unless they at least make it glow. I don't know.
It's like sugarless candy. What's the point? Like, come on, man. It looks great.
Diabetes.
I have diabetes. I get
it. Let's see. Kendall asks, when do you realize it's time to move on from a toy or a collectible?
Ooh,
well, and then what do you do? And then what do you do with it?
That's a really good question. And when I get to that point, you got to let me know. There are many points in my life where I'm like, no, I justify getting it because it's like, well, I'm going to get it and I'll just do a review and then I'll let it go. I'll resell it or whatever because it's not. And then I fall in love with it. And it's just like, oh my God. You know what? But that's a lie because I'm talking about Black Series and I had to give up Black Series. And for me, that was for my mental health, but also for my wallet and for space considerations, just because there's so many waves that are coming out, so many new releases. And it's just like, because they just released that last wave of Mandalorian figures, right? So like the artillery Mandalorian and the stormtrooper, not the artillery Mandalorian, the artillery stormtrooper, the squad leader stormtrooper, all the different new like Black Series figs. I'm like, oh, I can get stop, and you have to force yourself to stop. But then I breathe a sigh of relief because I watch all my buddies who are scrambling for pre-orders to try to find them anywhere and everywhere. I'm like, I don't miss that. Because it's not about hunting anymore. Now it's about scrounging. It's like people are trying to buy supplies. Yeah, and it's just like there's no joy in that for me anymore. It's like Hasbro's created this mess where it's just like, I couldn't.
Rarity's okay. Limits are okay. It's okay to be like, man, I got.
Yeah, but it's like Hunger Games out there.
Yeah, it
but
is.
They do that, and like, God help you if you're a kid and you just want to fucking play with these toys.
Yeah,
because you're not gonna get them. Because assholes like me go out and scoop up 6 or 7 of them, right? And it's like, they're for friends, like 3 you parcel out.
We can drive, man. We have cars. We'll go to Target at 5 a.m.
I have discretionary income, man. Like, you get a job, kid, and then you can do it. But I mean, and I get it, but like, and I would do that too. It's like, I would buy one that I can open, one I keep mint in box, right? And then I have friends who the one that can open, and one just in case, and one to have signed. If they're going to a con,
sure,
and it's just like, but where do you stop with that? Like, it just becomes,
I agree,
sort of nuts. And then, so I have all these Black Series figs, and I went through like, I've been collecting them now for a few years, and buying pieces off of friends as well who are thinning down their collection. So I've got a nice base collection of Black Series figs, but they're just taking up space. I haven't unboxed them yet. If I did unbox them, I have no place to display them. So what do? Right? Do I sell them off? I find that difficult because it's like I could cash in, but it's the whole process of having to go through that. Another part of me is just like, put them in a big box, airtight, put them in storage, sit on them for 10 years, bring them out, see what's worth more, and just sell it all off. Or like
Paul's my spirit animal right now. I have the exact
it's my kid's
same
inheritance.
Problem. The exact same problem.
I feel like I've heard this conversation with you, Josh.
Shush.
Yes.
Paul said it more eloquently. He's a professional. I'm just an idiot.
Just a professional hoarder is what I
am. Next question: which or how many episodes will you be in Mandalorian season 3?
All of them. Come on, Paul.
Sorry. I snuck that.
No answer there.
I wish I could answer that. I honestly wish I could answer that.
Dang.
All right. Well, I think we've got a live question, Josh.
Oh, we do have a live question. All right.
Would you like to introduce?
Let's bring our live question in. This is my lovely daughter, Liv. Liv, there's the camera. Say hi to Paul.
How are you? Good.
Can you hear?
Is your mic on?
That'd be me if it's not. Hold on. Let me make sure she's on. It's Andy's mic.
So hold on a second. Let me just get some water while you're doing that.
Yeah. Okay, Liv, don't freak out, okay? He's a cool dude. Just chill.
Time. Oh, there I am.
Oh, I can hear you.
There you
I
are.
can hear you.
Yep. There you go.
There we
Perfect.
go.
Dad's
Sorry.
a bad
Hi,
tech. Dad's a bad
Hi,
tech.
how are you?
I'm good.
Oh, I
How are
love
you?
your room. Good, thanks. Is that an AT-AT driver in the back? Oh no, it's a stormtrooper with a parka.
Yeah, it's a stormtrooper with the Empire Strikes Back Norwegian unit Columbia coat. Yeah, she's in the room with me. Give me 5.
There you go.
All right.
Oh, there you go. Oh wow. Okay.
Here, I'm gonna make it look more like you and her talking. There we go. Go ahead, sis.
Okay, I just have a few questions, and they're 100% about Avatar and not about Star Wars. So.
Okie dokie. All right.
So my first question was, is it nerve-wracking that you're going to be stepping into the role of the most beloved character in all of the Avatar fandom? Does that make you a little nervous at all?
Wasn't before, but I guess it is now. No, absolutely. I mean, I'm a fan of the show, having watched the series myself, and I tweeted about it too. There's a big shoes to fill with Mako and Greg, who took over the voice afterwards, who was so kind to reach out to me on Twitter and offer his support as well. It's
really,
I mean, I take it seriously as a fan. I want to do justice to the character. Obviously, I want to do it right for the fans. At the same time, I just don't want to mimic or do a copy of Mako's performance or even the animated performance. There's a reason why you do a live action show, and then just to punch it up and tell. They are honoring the source material. Absolutely. I think fans will be very, very pleased with what we're doing with the show. And I'm excited to share it with people, but it's a huge responsibility, not only myself, but I think everybody involved, from the writers to producers. Everybody wants to do it right and do justice to the entire series. So,
right.
Yeah. But that being said, I'm a little bit nervous.
Okay. That was my biggest thing. I was like, I would be terrified because Iroh is the most loved character in that entire show.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, you rely on, as a performer, I'll bring what I can to it, but the background, the backbone of any sort of story is the script. And it is such a collaborative process, right? So it is bringing to life all these different factors, from story to the interaction with the other characters, the other performers as well, working with the director. And it is, you're creating that, you're storytellers in that regard. And everybody wants to do really well for it and stuff. And all I can do is my best. And that's when I'm bringing it to it. And if you've seen my work and if you know my reputation in the industry as well, in terms of my work ethic, in terms of what I bring to this profession, because it's a craft, and I'm very, very, I take it seriously, and I'm very proud of the work that I do. And I always want to hold myself to the highest standards. So just to the fans, I'm excited to share with you what I can do, and I would like to think that you'll be very pleased with what you see.
I'm excited.
Does
I'm
that make you
super
feel good?
excited.
Sis?
Yes.
I mean,
No,
come
yes.
on. I'm about to cry.
Good
No, that was
question, Liv.
Perfect.
Good question.
So my other question was, what have you done to prepare for this role? I think you said that you've watched the series, but like, have you read any of the books? Is there something you've done to get into the Iroh headspace?
I again, having rewatched the series again. I actually, it's funny. My family did get me some of the books for Christmas.
Really?
Yeah, which is great. I think it's important to do the homework on it, but at the same time, this is a character. I mean, that's great for background to sort of flesh that out for the unwritten, or it's something that I can lean on if I have any questions in terms of something that isn't addressed in the script, where I can fill in the blanks. But again, it is another collaborative process with all the writers and the directors of the show, because they might be doing something that isn't or veers off from, that's different from the books or from the animated series, right? And so if you're too sort of stuck in that, because we're not doing a page for page sort of reenactment.
That was actually my next question. So perfect.
So, and because like, there's no point really. If you're just going to do that, why are you doing a live action adaptation? Just watch the animated, because it's so good, right? So
exactly.
that's the thing. We want to take it in different directions, and everybody's very excited about doing that and bringing Avatar to a different level.
So how much of your own stunts are you going to do?
All of them. No.
Oh.
You've seen the anime, right? Like, he doesn't do that. But I mean, season 3.
He doesn't have to. He's a badass.
He puts down tea pretty fast and some food. So as long as you can drink a lot of tea, you're good.
Yeah. One of the big things I get is a lot of people, and it's just so funny because it's like, we haven't finished shooting season 1. There's people, because in season 3, the animated, obviously Iroh gets jacked, right? Like, he's in prison.
Oh yeah.
And and so everybody, it's so funny hearing that debate online. You know, people are like, I don't know if he can get in shape for that. And like, really? Like, we haven't even started, and people are taking bets on whether I can get fit enough to do that. Okay, first of all,
you're gonna have to get jacked in a prison.
First of all, it's called CGI. Okay, I put on a green bodysuit. I'm pumped. Okay.
Yeah.
Second of all, these one-arm pull-ups. Yeah, I can do that. It's again CGI. They can fix it in post. Stunt performers, body doubles, all this stuff.
Third of all, have you seen Blue Dawn? Come on, I was a star basketball player.
So, you know, it's interesting because I think the amount of chatter that's online about the show shows how devoted fans are to this franchise. And there's a rich possibilities involved in all that, because it's not only about appeasing old fans, but it's about creating new fans as well and introducing this world and making it more mainstream. I mean, Avatar was pretty mainstream back when it premiered as a cartoon on Nickelodeon way back in the day. But I mean, you're talking like in the same vein that comic books were, you know, there was a certain fan base for that, but how much has exploded now to a worldwide sort of phenomenon with the Marvel movies. You know, with Avatar, there's that possibility as well of like reaching a much broader fan base as well. And I think as a fan of the original production, people should be enjoying that, because it's like, oh my God, so many more people are going to be loving the same stuff that I love. And I can't wait to share some of the deep cuts that I know that'll blow people's minds, new fans. I mean, that's the fun, I think, for OG fans, is sort of like being that gateway to some of the older stuff and say, yeah, but have you heard this story? Like the Siege of Boston Say, like, did you know? And then like sort of telling those backstories and having people go, oh my God, that's such a deep cut. Tell me more. That's the joy when you start finding stuff out about, like, you know, that storytelling and sharing it. It's incredible. So, yeah, I think fans, I can't wait. Again, it's just like, there are these themes that recur in my life, my professional life, and a lot of it is prove it. Show me. From day one when I started, always having to prove myself, always having to show that I belong, that I was capable, that I had craft. And from grinding it out in school, becoming a young actor, grinding out for little parts here or there to keep working in the business, to getting onto Kim's, grinding that out, and then being on Star Wars and now Avatar. I mean, this is a long journey in my career, and it's always been prove yourself. And I think this is well within the same themes that I've been living with professionally my entire career. It's a prove it, and I welcome that challenge because it keeps you honest, it keeps you hungry, and I'm a big fan of winning people over and showing that this can be, and it's going to be, something that is incredibly crafted but incredibly fun, and as a fan, some really great new voices and new experiences for them, and that's exciting as a fan when you get fresh material. I think that's something you want.
Yeah. Thank you so much. For my final thing, I just wanted to show you this and ask if you're gonna start doing your hair like this. How do you make it focus?
Give it to me.
I see it.
Here.
I see
I
it.
want the bun. Ooh,
my
sorry.
wife got me that pop fig.
Really?
Yeah. After I got cast, which is great. I can't. All I can say is, it's going to be great to finally be able to share some of the looks on this show for all the characters. I think the fans are going to be more than happy. Our costume designer, the production designers,
did you hear that?
Knocked it out of the ballpark. They really, really did. I got shivers seeing them, and my jaw dropped. And so you're just going to have to wait. But when you see it, I mean, I keep praying for a leak somewhere where they could just show a tease of some.
Right here's costumes. A great spot, Paul. Right here's a great spot. They'll shut us down. No one will care. It'll be fine. Just leak it.
But I think it'll go a long way towards alleviating some of the doubt that's out there. Just because I know, because of the 2012 movie, the M. Night Shyamalan movie, which made a huge mess, sadly for the fans. There's a lot of people who are very reluctant to sort of have their hearts broken again, know. And I get that, and there's a lot of mistrust and a lot of like, oh, we'll see. But if you look at what the production has done so far in terms of the casting for the show, the different, like, this is not M. Night Shyamalan's casting. We have a rich, diverse casting that is appropriate to the races that are being portrayed in the series. I think that's a great step forward. You've got like the kids that have cast, they look really close to the actual characters that they're portraying. But not only that, they're really good actors. And that's the other thing. It's not like, oh, you look exactly the same. You can't act, but it's like, you step in because you look the same. It's none of that. Like, these are crafted actors who are exciting to watch and see, get the opportunity to inhabit these characters and bring them to life and do what they want to do. So I love that. And so you have to realize that if it's starting from that point, they're going to make sure that things are done right. And the closest comparison I can make to it so far is like Mandalorian, right? You look at the level of detail, the care that they take for casting, for writing, for production, for props, the costumes, to everything. These are fans of the Star Wars universe. So the people who are doing Avatar, they're fans of that universe as well.
Well, they're also raising the bar for everybody else that's going to try and do something from a beloved franchise. Ghostbusters Afterlife, I thought was really, really good at incorporating the old and the new. Mm-hmm. We talked about before we were on, Cobra Kai has done that very, very well. And so Avatar, another known, beloved entity, if you're going to take something on like that, then you better nail it, right? Otherwise it's not going to happen again. So that's encouraging to hear you say that, and
beyond encouraging, Paul, it's just fantastic. I mean, the passion. I mean, if you're just the fact that you're on the set, it just makes it feel like, I mean, this is a real deal. So I love that. It's very cool. And by the way, we should stop the pod now, and then we're going to start a new pod called Liv, Paul, and Josh, or Liv, Paul, and Dan. And Paul talks to Liv about all that work ethic. And we talk about college. Okay. So all right. Anyway, new pod, Paul. New pod. Or anyway, the Godfather, whatever you want to do. Let's
just take we can sign the papers, we'll just mail them right up there.
All right, Liv, here's your chance. Look at the camera. Paul's gonna look at you, and you can wave and just be like, I was on screen
with Uncle
Iroh. Just look at the camera. Go ahead, Paul. Give her a peace sign. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that was her whole thing.
Thank you so much,
Liv.
Paul.
Thank you. Those were great
Paul.
questions, Liv.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye, Liv.
Bye.
Go to bed.
School night. That was great.
Thank you, Paul. I really appreciate it. As a father and as a fan of not only Star Wars but major franchises, Liv likes to tease me because I'm the kind of guy that she'll have the animation on and I'll kind of creep in the background in the kitchen, making something. I'll be like, "What's Appa doing right now? Why is that bison flying? I don't get it." And she's like, "Yeah," and then pause and go through the whole thing. So.
Right.
Do you think? Well, okay, we got to ask a couple collector questions here. I know you've been very generous with your time here.
You have.
Oh, it's cool, man.
Just a couple collector questions. From us here. Rank your franchise collections that you do. Like, what do you have the most of?
Yeah.
What is it?
Star Wars. Number one, that's the most stuff that I have. Helmets, figs, games. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Number two would be Ghostbusters. Okay. Proton packs, traps, goggles, cosplay.
I've seen your proton packs and they're excellent, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm getting two more. I backed the HasLab proton pack.
Oh, nice.
I invested in two more of those.
So two that you've made and then two HasLabs.
Yeah. And then I have two Spirit packs that I modded for my kids. The Spirit Halloween packs, they were like $99. The really great starter proton pack, like for anybody who wants to cosplay as a Ghostbuster, you can just either use it as is, or if you want to do a little bit of modification to make them a little bit more screen accurate, there are a lot of great sort of third-party kits that you can use to change the lightings, add a sound card, some cosmetic changes that you can make the pack really look closer to screen accurate, which is great. So I did that for my two boys. The Spirit Halloween packs are like 80% scale. So they're just a little bit smaller, which is perfect for kids or for smaller people. And they're super lightweight too. So if you go into a con, it's great. It's not, you're not killing yourself. So yeah. That on the left there, that's my fiberglass. That's my hero pack. That one is like 45 pounds, full light sound. There's an e-cig venting kit on the bottom where the end filter is. GB1 ribbon cable. It's all aluminum greeblies. The wand is aluminum except for the throwers. That was a labor of love. That was a gift to myself, putting that together after season 1 of Kim's. Actually,
nice. Wow,
so yeah,
good job.
and in the middle, those are my two boys. That's how I got into Star Wars cosplay. I started with building armor for them for Halloween, and I just had so much fun. I was like, why do they get to wear it? So I ended up starting, and that's how I started my Star Wars cosplay into that. So it's Star Wars, Ghostbusters, and then in there somewhere, there's I got a bunch of Star Trek stuff as well. I grew up a Trekkie, and so that was for me. I've got a number of, I think 4 or 5 phasers, communicators, like the OG original series Star Trek stuff. Comm badges. I've got. I want to get more into the cosplay for that. Sorry.
Do you 3D print your own stuff?
I do. So I have 2 3D printers. I've got an FDM printer, a Sidewinder X1, Artillery X1, and Mars Elegoo Pro, which is still in the box because I ran out of room and time, basically. Yeah, and now it's because the Mars Elegoo Pro, it's great, but it's so small now. Now it's been so long since I bought that they now have much bigger versions of it where you can have much bigger builds on it. So I'm secretly just sort of thinking, well, maybe I should wait. And when I can finally find space to get one that'll print an entire helmet at once, I'll invest in that and sell the small one. Or I can use a small one as get my own 3D printing farm happening. But again, it's space. I have no space in my basement.
What are all your Star Wars cosplays?
Oh God. Okay.
You said you had 8 of them or something, right?
Yeah. So I started off with a TIE fighter pilot. That was the first one. There's a reserve pilot, which is a variation of the TIE pilot. I've got a TK, which is a regular stormtrooper, first order TK, which is still in the box, that I need to build. Mud trooper. I have the staff officer, which is the black officer's uniform. I have a line officer, which is the olive green uniform. I also have the tank trooper from Rogue One.
Rogue One.
I also have Jedi costume, and I have 2 variations of the X-wing pilot. One is just the regular X-wing, and the Hoth version as well. So that's
wow.
–
Do you have a Carson Teva outfit?
It's funny because members of the Rebel Legion, they're asking because they don't have an officially approved one in their costume reference library, their CRL, and or they don't have one yet because it's a long process to get. That's basically, for those of you who don't know, the CRL is what the 501st and the Rebel Legion, they have it's called the costume reference library. And whenever they have a costume that, needs to be approved, like Legion approved, they'll have a baseline for that. And it's usually the first person to ever build that costume to the exact specifications, meaning that they need to be screen accurate. Once that's done, you have the honor of being, the model for the CRL. And everybody bases their cosplay builds on your look. So it's a great honor, and there's a big race for it. So whenever there's a new movie that comes out, there's a race to be the first of that particular character. To my knowledge, they haven't done Carson Teva yet, but it's going to be difficult just because it's a mix of original trilogy stuff, Rogue One stuff, and some liberties that are taken by the costume designer Shauna Tripsick. So it's just like there's a season 2. There's a different looks between them. Like if you look at season 1 of the Mandalorian, the Rebel pilots, their jumpsuits, the orange jumpsuits, are like more from Rogue One because they've got the puffy collars.
Yeah.
And then in season 2, when it's me and Filoni, we've got the original trilogy jumpsuits, which are more the cotton-based ones, right? But the chest boxes are from Rogue One. The data pack, the code cylinders are not the same ones that because I've got that cosplay of the regular Rebel pilot, and the code cylinders are not. Those are specifically crafted for that. So those original craft bucks or what is it called, builds for them. So that's very interesting. And so there's little minor variations here and there, right down to the boots even. So
are they asking you for all the pictures you took up close of each part? Is that what they're asking for?
I have been asked if I have pictures of that.
Yeah, not yet. Let it cool off a little bit.
I just, what? For me, I was just happy to be there, right? So,
that's so cool.
But if I were to submit, it's so funny because people are saying you would be the first one in history to actually have played the character.
Oh,
and submitted and had your costume done as the CRL.
That's an interesting twist.
You've got a friend.
That friend again.
It's Shauna, actually. Shauna's the costume designer on Mandalorian. Season 1 was Joseph Porro, but season 2 is Shauna, and season 3 is Shauna as well. And I think she did Book of Boba Fett as well.
Oh wow,
man!
Oof, she's on it.
She is a nerd's nerd. Like she goes and that level of detail that she brings, that excellence that she brings, and she cares. Like she will go in, get screen caps and count the number of stitches in terms of recreating some of the looks, right? Oof. She'll go and she'll source the original fabric that they used and she'll track it down and she'll get that, and they will build from scratch all that. So my flight suit is scratch built. It's not an off the rack. So the one that I have for my own cosplay, that's an off the rack XL size Anovos jumpsuit, right? Yeah. This one is like the one I wear for Mandalorian is tailored to my body because they took my measurements.
Well, right? So that means it's yours, right?
That means no one else can use it. Yeah.
Oh God, that's so cool.
I don't know, Paul. So I've seen you in a couple shirts. I think I could use it. Let's go, buddy.
Well, yeah, I don't have it with me.
You don't carry it everywhere?
No. No, production keeps all of that. So
all right. What's next on your get list for your collection?
Oh my God.
I mean, you already said you back some proton packs for the HasLab.
Yes. So I'm really looking forward to those. I want to get my hands on that because I also have the Neutrona wands, the Spengler wands, because those came out first. And I had ordered one through Hasbro Pulse and gotten it. And then I'd forgotten I'd gotten it. And a friend was at Toys R Us and was like, oh, they got them here. And I was like, yeah, get me one. So I have two. And they get attached to the Hasbro pack, actually, which is cool. So I was pretty excited about that. That's another reason why I got two of them. But honestly, I have a problem, and talk to me out there. Those of you who know have the same thing. I accidentally pre-order a lot of the same stuff.
So we are literally the same people, Paul.
Okay,
we're the same people.
So I kind of thought you would be sympathetic towards my plight. So I had realized I had pre-ordered the Hot Toys Bo-Katan.
Yep,
3 times.
Oh, good job. Good.
Through the same company.
Paul,
my wife is never.
This happened for us so much that we ended up making a rule.
Yeah.
That if you unknowingly pre-order more than one of the same thing, not on purpose, you have to give the second one away.
See,
yeah, and that's bullshit because that was always me.
Oh my God!
Hey, if it hits close to home, Josh, then
Paul,
I don't know.
Paul, tell me this. When you get that Entertainment Earth email and it's like, or notification that you've had a charge for Entertainment Earth, are you like, oh shit, oh no, no, here it comes, Black Series.
Yeah. See, I'm more of an idiot because every place that I go to for pre-orders, I always pay in full right up front. So it's out of sight, out of mind. Like I want to order it and forget about it and kind of go, not have to worry about like, oh, do I have enough money? At the moment, if I have enough money, that's when I'll buy it, just so I don't get into trouble like that. Because I know, for example, for the HasLab thing, for the Proton Pack, they had like all these like close to 19,000 backers. And then the second it closed, they charged everybody's credit cards, and they'd lost a bunch of backers because they couldn't pay. Right? They're like, oh my God, they had no idea they were going to charge them that quickly.
Yep.
And so it's just like, oh, okay. So for me, in terms of that, like I never get those. I always get the shipping notifications. Like they don't charge me until it's time to ship it, and then they will. They'll give me notifications saying, okay, we're charging you for shipping now. And I go, oh, okay, what's this for? And I have to backtrack and look for it.
It doesn't matter. I mean, for me, especially through Sideshow, right?
Yeah.
Like if you pay the deposit, you lose that if you don't pay everything up front anyway. So I'm just like, I'll just put it in there. I want to get it as fast. I'm just clicking order, especially on the pre-orders when it's fast. I'm like, order. And if that's the $50 deposit, I don't care. And then blammo. What happened? What did I get? A couple of Grogu's showed up. I was like, oh man. Yeah. It's happened. A couple of helmets. Andy loves it when I'm like, hey, guess what? You get it at cost. Congratulations.
Maybe Josh, you can trade Paul a Grogu.
Yeah, you and I should talk. And
you guys can trade.
I have a Grogu.
Yeah.
Just one? Just one?
No, yes, I have the Sideshow one, and then I went out and got the Hot Toys one. As well.
Nice.
Just to do a comparison of the two. So
because science. Yeah.
Well, no, because the Sideshow one is more of a statue, right? That's it. Just that one. And it's gorgeous. But after having seen the real one and actually held it on the set, yes, I was kind of like, oh, I want something a little bit more posable. And then I heard about the Hot Toys one, so I was like, well, I must have that. And so I ordered the Hot Toys one, and because it's got the mouth that you can shape and the different ears that you can attach and you can pose it. That's why. So I did a comparison between that one and the Sideshow one.
Yeah. And which one? Obviously, you like the Hot Toys better. Right?
The Hot Toys one. I love the posability of it. I love the softness of the face. It's a little bit more real, but I didn't like the jacket that he was wearing. The Sideshow one is actually much nicer than the Hot Toys.
I'm looking at it. That's why he's over there staring at me. He's creepy as hell, man. He just keeps staring at me.
Can I take a bio break? I just realized I've been chugging water the whole time, and we're coming up on
buddy.
an hour and 45. Give me 30 seconds. 30 seconds. I'll be back.
Andy, you're brutal. You wouldn't even let him go pee? Can you imagine?
I thought he had.
I'm taking a bio break. Look, is this a point where we just tell people, look, it is an evening with Paul? I think Framey put that up a little while back. It's an evening with Paul. He's so gracious to stay with us.
We should probably wrap this up.
We should probably wrap it up, Andy. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if he's taking a bio, then I don't know. He's pretty good for look, he's used to being in wardrobe. They don't let him even go. There's probably not zippers on that custom made X-Wing pilot.
No, remember he said he's in wardrobe for like 10 minutes, or that was makeup.
No. But once you're in, you're not getting out, right?
Yeah. Well, we got a spinner left. Let's save
let's wrap this up.
Yeah, let's save the Vader cologne comments for the next one.
That or just throw him in now. We're good. Paul's all right. He's fine. He took a leak. We're good. He took a leak. He's fine. I love bio break. By the way, Paul, I don't want to tell you how to do your job, but I'm a professional. I've been sitting here on it for a long time. Okay.
It's bad for your bladder.
That's what you see me moving over. I'm like, yeah, he's fine, Paul. Oh, keep going. Tell me more. No, this is great. So we're gonna wrap it up for you, Paul. We have a couple things. This has been just fantastic. Okay. I don't even care. I'd stay here all night with you and talk.
Well, let's keep going. Yeah, if we got more questions, I'll answer them.
All right. We have two more things for you.
All right.
This one is kind of fun, and we're excited to do it with you. We have a thing. We call them spinner. We spin our hot toys. That's what we do. We put them on a spinner.
Okay.
We just spin them around. But we also like to play some music with that. And you're the professional actor here, So we thought maybe we'd spin it. Now, I guess maybe you'll get into it a little bit once you see it. We don't actually have a demo. Do we have a demo? Do I have one loaded still?
No, there isn't one loaded anymore.
I wish there was one loaded. It would have been great to show Paul because I'm sure you've seen our stuff. You've probably followed and subscribed for a while. But maybe you forgot. But yeah, we don't have one loaded. But anyway, we do some spinning. It was an old joke that we need to rekindle. But anyway, without further ado, see, Gary Moore's ready. All right. We're just going to throw it up there. Actually, if I still have this, hold on. And I don't. It's cool. Too much build up for nothing. Here we go. We'll throw this up. Let's go solo. There it is. Boom. All right, Paul. And then we like to put a little music to it. Oh, yeah, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hot Toys 1/6 scale Phantom Menace Darth Maul.
Darth motherfucking Maul. Go ahead, Andy.
If you thought one saber wasn't enough, good news. This bad boy's got a double-edged, double red, hot toy saber.
2 sabers. Yeah. Go ahead, Paul. Your turn. Add some flair.
Now, with his original legs, oh yeah, watch him take that double-edged sword and split it in half.
Oh,
if you think one is not enough, wait till you get two. Two for the price of one. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me, but that head looks really horny. Oh yeah.
Oh man.
So what I really like about this hot toy, if we can get serious here for
I'm
just a
sorry.
second,
I'm sorry. We'll get serious.
Is that the outfit that he's in the Phantom Menace is very It's like a Ronin type, kind of a baggy. The costuming of this was why I bought it, and the face sculpt is perfect, but his costume is just it's real cloth. It's movable. It's posable. Everything that you like about Hot Toys. I mean, this was the first one that I ever got, and I got it probably 3 or 4 years ago. Even before I really kind of knew what Hot Toys were, I saw it in a secondhand toy store, and I was like, you know what? That is the face on it looks incredible. I mean, it's Ray Park's face to a T, and then the fact that he's just a really big looking action figure that it just looks awesome. So
yeah, no, that's it's good when you see it and then you want to buy it.
Yeah,
because I'm looking at it going, oh damn.
Oh, hold on, Paul. I'll do some camera work for you. How about that?
Yeah, let's get up close on that face, Josh. I don't want to tell you what to do here, but that needs to happen. And he comes with a few different hand poses. This one actually didn't come with a lot of accessories,
right?
But just a top-notch design. It was very entry level. I think it only cost me $150.
Damn, that's great. Does the saber split in half?
It does not.
Okay.
But full disclosure, I busted it in half trying to put it in his hand.
That's perfect.
I had to glue it back together, and I thought, you know what? Why am I gluing it back together? It's actually better now. No, it wasn't better, but it wasn't supposed to be.
No one's gonna know. They're gonna know.
Yeah.
How are they gonna know?
No one's gonna know.
Wow. And so, like, it's all you can put. Are there wires through the through some of the loose parts so you can get them flared out so that it looks like?
Nope. This one does not have any wiring in the sleeves or in the kind of the front cowl kind of piece.
Yeah.
Or in the legs. It's just baggy cloth that moves as though it would move with him.
That is, that's a very Japanese. Heavily Japanese. That's a Japanese outfit, basically.
Yeah.
And it looks absolutely badass. Looks great.
Yeah, love it. I'm not disappointed in this purchase 4 years later.
Oh, it's camera.
Yeah, the autofocus is just brutal.
God, what a bastard.
Must
Here we go. Boom.
get into focus. Flames kicking. Scowl deepening.
Very much scowl.
Yes.
So,
Paul, how do you like the fire in the background, though, bro? I mean,
it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I'm super jelly.
Adds the ambiance.
Yeah, baby.
So, how many Hot Toys do you have, Paul?
I have,
not including the pre-orders.
Yeah, no. Like at home, I have 13 still in the box, in their boxes at home. And
That's
out of the case, I have.
It's a good sign when you can't think of them off the top of your head.
Maybe 10 outside of the box.
Okay, you got some opening to do, buddy.
Yeah,
but
I know.
You also got a YouTube channel to support, right?
And that's the thing, right? So I'm using I'm stopping myself from opening a bunch. Like I try to open one Hot Toys per episode.
Yeah.
That I do, and it's so funny. So I came to Vancouver. I had 0. I went to Toy Traders. Came back with 2 more Hot Toys. One was the 40th anniversary, the Empire Strikes Back version of Boba Fett that I unboxed on Sunday. The other one is the Jedha Stormtrooper, the Sideshow collectible exclusive version. It's a Hot Toys, but it was just exclusive to Sideshow. Yeah. And then in the mail today, this is great. I'm looking for this. This came a little bit early for me. You'll be unboxing this. The deluxe edition.
Federation Dude Inc. You can watch it, unbox it.
I'm gonna do this, and then
that was sweet.
Thank you. And then I kind of the other night. This is the thing I ordered from. There's a company called Toys Wonderland, and they're based in Hong Kong, so they have access to a lot of the Hot Toys like pretty quickly. And I had a moment of like retail therapy. I'm bored. I'm by myself. This is what I'm gonna do. And so I ordered 3, thinking, oh, they'll come. They're being shipped. Like they'll be here in like day after tomorrow. I'm like, oh my god. So I got 3 more coming. Yeah. And what I'm now trying to remember what I ordered. The from Mandalorian, the Armorer. I got her, and I got the Stormtrooper squad leader from Mandalorian season 2.
Is that with the red pauldron?
Yeah, with the red pauldron. And then God help me, what was the other one? My wife is gonna kill me.
Don't tell her. Just don't tell her.
No, it's like the fact that I can't remember. It's like you can't remember. Like
no.
Maybe it's two armors.
You got a lot going on, man. You got a lot going on.
Maybe it was 3.
I always tell my wife, I'm like, we got a lot going on. All right, I can't.
She was chirping me the other day. Yeah, oh my God. She's like, quick, Paul, or pre-order 5. I'm like, I'm sorry. Oh, another Death Trooper. That's what it was. Because you can't. I have a Death Trooper, but you can't just have one.
No,
right? They travel in pairs. So in terms of the display that I want to do, I want 2 of them, right? So they're going to be flanking one of the characters. So it's just, I want to get into 1/6 scale photography as well.
Oh, cool.
Just because I've seen some really great examples out there. I'm like, oh my God, this is so much fun. And then being on Sideshow Collectibles, they have a web show called Strike a Pose. That was so much fun, just being under the gun and posing the 1/6 scale. It's just like, oh my, like that really sort of lit a fire under my ass. In terms
write
of
that down. I've never heard of that.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Strike a pose.
You never heard
Strike a pose.
Oh, come on. Of course you have Andy.
Terry Smith is the host of that show. He's got his own YouTube channel, and he is their resident poser. And so, and this is what he does. Like he's the judge on the show, and it's so much fun. Check it out. Like the latest episode that I was on, I was with Rahul Kohli and Garrett Waring, and we were the Christmas special. And we actually posed quarter scale Spider-Man Homecoming figures, and now I'm like, quarter scale, shit.
Don't tell your wife.
Shit. Okay. And that made me go out, and so after that, because they give you the figure afterwards, right?
No.
And so I got this quarter scale Spider-Man, which is spectacular.
Oh my gosh. Which spoiler alert, which Spider-Man?
It's from the second movie. It's from Homecoming.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
No, sorry, from the first movie. Because it's with the Vulture's wing is on the base, which is
that's cool.
Yeah, it's great. Look it up, check it out. It is a slippery slope. Now it's quarter scale. I gotta stop though because I don't have room. But I did.
Yeah, you kept saying that, and you just brought home a quarter scale. So come on, man.
And then I ordered the
Vulture's wing.
I ordered the quarter scale like Mandalorian and Child. So. And I did an unboxing in my basement. I didn't have room for it. Like I had to set one of my cameras way off in the corner and put a table down.
Paul, don't tell your wife you're starting a new family, bro. You're starting a new family here. I don't get it. Yeah. Are you talking to him yet? Are you talking to him?
Avatar money, baby.
Yeah.
It's like if you need a place on the West Coast to stash some stuff.
We're guys south. Okay, we'll come meet you. We'll meet you at the border. You just huck them through customs.
It's so funny because this is now Paul's house of like. It's not my geeky basement. It's like my geeky like rental apartment in West Van because like I got
that housekeeper you had to leave for. Is she terrified?
Well, that's the thing, right? Oh, they're aggressive here. It's so funny. It's like they came last week, and I just settled in, and they kept banging. I was like, "What the fuck?" Opened the door. I said, "No, I'm good. I'm good." She's like, "Oh no, you have to clear guest services." Well, that's what they said. There was like there were 2 of them, 2 angry little Asian women, and then they were like, "You have to clear it with guest services." I was like, "Okay, I'll do it. That's okay." And I closed the door, and I was like, "Yeah, I just came in. I haven't made a mess. I'm good. I don't need this disruption." I said, "Oh well, then
let them do their job, Paul."
Yeah, we have to do. And it's like, okay, well, this week, can we do it this week instead, right? Because it's been more than a week now. But yeah, and they're like, I'm in the middle of a street. So nobody's been in here for nobody from outside has been in here. So like this desk is like, I got lights, I got my cameras, wires, hot toys, collectibles. I've got, in the other room where you're supposed to have like, I don't know, storage for regular real life things, like a pantry. I've got nothing but toys in there.
That's perfect.
So they're gonna open it up and go, "What the fuck is this guy doing?"
Paul, we're coming up. Not for an intervention, but for an encouragement. No.
Yeah.
That's
we'll bring
awesome.
Gifts.
We'll bring gifts for sure. We can fill your pantry.
Yeah. Oh, and I got something I want to send to you guys too. I got this. I got these. So I got
please.
some
Yes.
blanks. So I'll personalize these
Oh.
and sign these and make sure I get them to you. So I'm going to need
Oh,
a
we love
mailing
it.
address for you, gentlemen.
Thank you so
Oh
much.
my
We love it.
gosh.
there.
Well, that's
We'll put
funny
these
because
in.
we got something for you too.
We got
Perfect.
something for you
This
too,
is perfect.
Paul. I love it. Look at that. What does it say on the back? Congratulations. Oh my
It
gosh.
says
Really?
congratulations.
Yeah.
Is this part of the Topps Gal? That's not Topps Galaxy.
It is.
That's
No.
it's
This
it's
is
the
from
Mando
their
set.
the Mandalorian set, the top Mandalorian season 2 set. I had an agreement with them to sign a number of them, and I was able to work into it. Like I wanted some blanks for my own personal use,
Oh, thank you
and
so
so
much.
these are perfect. To give
Should
out
I
to
grab the
friends.
book? Should I grab the book? We have a book full of those, and we collected a good amount of.
Oh wow!
How many of those? Not yours though. We don't have yours.
We don't have yours.
We
No,
don't have
we
yours
got-
signed.
I think we got about
No, we got
8
Katie,
or 9.
didn't we? Did we get Katie? Yeah,
no, we got
no. We
Ashley,
got
Ashley
Ashley.
Eckstein.
Ashley. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got her
But that was-
signature.
Nice.
But not because she gave it to us though.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
you-
bought
we
it.
ha-
you
we
legit
had to go.
collected it. Yeah.
We had
legit
to-
collected.
We
had.
was
We
sweet.
get to. You're gonna make a Dave's my friend shirt. We're gonna make a Paul's my friend shirt. So that's how
That's
we're gonna
right. 100%.
all good stuff rolls downhill is what the saying is, right?
Right.
All right, Paul, we got something for you too, man. We're gonna give you Flat Bill Paul,
Yes.
a Hall of Chronicles hat, baby,
Lovely.
to rock, so you can
Thank
join.
you.
And
Sweet.
I do want one of those represent hats too, so I'll probably hit your website. What's your
Right on.
website where people can buy some of those cool merch?
bitterasiandude.com/merch.
Nice. I'll
There you
update
go.
my little banner there. I should have done that earlier, but I was
Don't worry
enthralled.
about it.
All right, Andy, take us into the final step, and we're gonna let Paul go. This generous man who's hanging out with us all night, which is awesome.
Well,
Well,
Paul,
yeah,
thank you from us, of course, and from those watching and listening on the rewind. Best of luck to you in the Netflix series, Airbender series. Can't wait. I'm just listening to you talk about it tonight has gotten me excited about something that's not really a lot on my radar, but
Cool.
I'll definitely going to check that out. Liv was jacked about that, and just to see her excitement about it kind of gets me excited about it.
And I'm going to say it again, as a dad, who's, sometimes your kids tell you about their stuff. You're like, oh yeah. You got 20 other things you're thinking of. And like, are you seriously going to walk me through a 30-minute episode and take 29 minutes to do it? So I mean, I really appreciate it because that for me, I mean, was through the moon. She left her all cool. And then she sprinted upstairs. I'm sure she's watching herself on rewind. So she loved it, but I love it as a dad because, and as a dad for a lot of kids out there that are watching. I mean, Avatar is huge with the kids, and especially I liked how you said you were going to pull in young kids. That's what it already happened with the animation is pulled in kids that weren't my daughter's too young to have watched it originally, right, and cared about it, right? So it's bringing it back, and now you're bringing it back again and adding what it really needed to make it true to the fandom, as at least in their view, and I appreciate that. So thank you so much for taking the time. Go ahead, Andy. Sorry.
Well, we have a saying, Paul, that it rings true to the heart of collectors, no matter what the franchise, and you being a mostly out of box collector, I think you'll appreciate this too. We always sign off with a "Go play with your toys."
Oh yeah.
Say it, Paul. Say it, Paul.
Go play with your toys.